Jeff Sirkin is our guest this morning, and he owns Galettes. And that's all you got to say. Jeff, good morning. Welcome. How are you?
Appreciate you guys having me in.
Well, it's good to I haven't met you. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you finally. I've listened to you guys for a bunch of years.
Well, thank you.
Nice to put a voice to the face.
Appreciate that. And before we get into the real reason that you're here, I just want to talk about Galettes for just a minute. Such an institution.
It really is.
In Tuscaloosa. And anybody that ever went to the University of Alabama like I did, and it's been a few minutes, and you were there a few minutes ago too. But
yes.
I want to hear, you talk about the great American dream.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your history with Galettes. How did you end up owning the joint?
So basically, right next door is the campus party store, which is a package store. Started working there in '96. Went to school here. And when the business was sold in 2003, I knew the guys that are now my partners that were coming in, and just right place, right time, and extended a piece of it to me, and here we are.
So you worked at Galettes.
Right.
And now you own Galettes.
Yes.
What was your first job there?
I was actually a cashier over at the campus party store, which is no longer now. Now Galettes took over that part of it, so the package store is now gone. But yeah, so I've seen a few things. Do
any of your young, spirited employees at Galettes ever look at you with that look in their eye, like one day I'm going to own this place? You're living proof it's possible.
It is possible. Yeah. Just stick with it.
I imagine you'll keep it for a long time.
It's done very well and continues to do.
I don't pretend to know a whole lot about the bar business. You tell me. I guess a lot of people at some point dream of one day owning a bar. And I did at one point, and I mentioned it to a friend who owned a bar. It was in St. Louis, and they said, "You're insane. You have no idea the work that's involved when you own a bar. It's not fun like you think it might be. There is fun, but there's just so much that goes into it. Same can be said of owning a restaurant. Dreamed about that too. Is that true? You don't necessarily encourage people to buy bars?
It's very true. It is a lot of fun, but what you don't see, the hours you're not open, there's a lot of legwork to be done, and orders,
liability
and inventory.
These days.
The liability is a huge issue, and finding the right help, and having a good staff, and I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
Well, now what's kept Galettes hot? I mean, one of the things I do know this about the bar business is trendy.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of bars will open and they're the hot place and the place everybody goes, and then all of a sudden something new comes along and suddenly you're not the hot place anymore. Galettes is always the hot place. What has kept it hot for all these years?
I think a couple of things.
Other than the Yellowhammer.
Right, of course, the Yellowhammer, which we're known for, and our location, we are the closest bar to Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Has a lot to do with it.
You think Galettes, you think, the tradition of Alabama football and game day. Yeah. And, it was just one of the first bars on the strip with, Egan's and the original Houndstooth. So
and it's never slowed down.
It stood the test of time. Yep.
So how old is the place?
Started in 76.
Okay, so we did
the math. 42 years.
Yeah, 42
up.
years. How many Yellowhammers do you sell on the average game day?
Yeah, on an SEC weekend. That's what I want to know.
SEC weekend.
Take like an LSU or a Tennessee or an Iron Bowl. Thousands of gallons.
Thousands of gallons.
They're made in 5-gallon batches at a time. So you just kind of do the math there. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's by far the most popular cocktail there. Now, did it exist when you took over?
Yes, it started there in 76.
Who created it? We know who we just learned a moment ago, I don't know if you were listening or not, that a Benedictine monk named Dom Perignon invented champagne.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never knew Dom Perignon was a Benedictine monk, but he was, and he invented champagne. Do we know who invented the Yellowhammer?
The original owner, Philip Weaver, who is
also a Benedictine monk, which is,
who's still
most people don't know
down
that.
there, very active on the strip with Buffalo Phil's and his rental property. I think he had a hand in creating it with his original partner.
What's in the Yellowhammer? Can you tell me?
Let's just say it's a rum-based concoction with a couple other things in it.
That's all we're going to get?
Yeah.
All right. And there's also another, I'm told by Captain Ray, who's a big supporter and fan of Galettes and friend of yours, that Galettes does not have a sign. I've never noticed. Is it true that Galettes does not have a sign?
That is very true. It's never had a sign.
You're like the old Knicks and the Sticks. When you're so good, for a while, they didn't have a sign.
Right. And it's funny, on game days, people will be wandering by the front. They're like, well, we're looking for Galettes. And you turn around and like, well, this is it. And they're like, oh, well. And we get questions all the time, but it's never had a sign. And
Will there ever be a sign?
No.
You don't need one.
Don't need one. I mean, it is a tradition thing too. I mean, people just know where it is and word of mouth. So we've kept it that way.
It's the cool factor too. You know what I mean? Like, you know where it is. And people from out of town have to ask you. You have to show them. You're like, I'm from Tuscaloosa. I got this.
I know where that is.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. Well, let me ask you this, and our show's a little bit different. We're almost honest to a fault. And rarely is this question ever asked directly on live radio. But when Captain Ray said, let's have Jeff on, because today is a very important day for the entertainment and bar and restaurant business in Tuscaloosa. We'll talk about wine in just a minute. I said, have the owner of Galettes in here, Jeff Sirkin. And I said, good. I said, you think we can get him to advertise on the show? Because, we love that. That's our lifeline. And Captain Ray said, I don't know if he needs it. I said, what do you mean? Everybody needs to advertise. He goes, he said, Steve, they don't even have a sign. So I don't really know how concerned he is about advertising. So look, if it's in your heart, that's fine. If it's not, I guess we understand. You're that
sure
popular.
We could talk to somebody.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, I understand.
But I love the fact that you don't have a sign. In fact, I was a little heartbroken to move back to Tuscaloosa and find out the new owners of Nick's and the Sticks, which I adore, had put up a sign.
I saw that.
I hated that.
Right. I remember going out there the first time. It was just that building there, and you never...
Nondescript.
Right.
That was fantastic. Okay. Other than the Yellowhammer, what is the most popular attraction at Galettes?
I just think it's the tradition. It's been there for so long, and believe it or not, I have employees now where their parents used to work there, and now their son or daughter is now there working, and it's almost like a generational thing. It's like passed down.
The parents used to drink there for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So, and then it's great to see when the older alumni comes back in town that
They
their
always
kids
want
are
to
in
come to
school there.
Galettes.
Right. This is where mom and dad used to hang out, and we're still there. So,
What
great.
are you close to? Are you the oldest? What's the oldest bar in town? Do you know?
On the Strip, I believe it's Egan's.
Okay.
And then I think it's us and the Houndstooth.
Yeah,
the
you're right in there.
Houndstooth. Yeah.
Well, continued success. That's going to happen, obviously. A game day tradition for sure on the Strip. Galettes, home of the famous Yellowhammer.
Yes, sir.
And our friend Jeff Sirkin, the owner of the place this morning. And so your prediction, you think this entertainment district deal is going to pass?
I think it passes.
Yeah, I do too.
I think there's going to be some opposition from the people in the historic district, but I think overall that you're going to see this continue.
Tuscaloosa City Council tonight is the big public hearing on that. Will you be attending tonight?
I will be in there. Yes.
Okay, you will be.
Check it out.
Okay. Is it true you'll have a kiosk outside with Yellowhammers for everybody going into the meeting and leaving the meeting?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We cannot confirm that. That might be fake news. Thank you very much.
Appreciate
so
it, guys.
much.
Roll Tide, my friend.
Thank you. Roll Tide.